You know, honestly, this was the last thing I even want to make this kind of video, especially on Christmas Day. You know, Studio Deen, I expected you to actually put a lot of effort, but you gave me the middle finger and told me, and it sounds like you're telling me, go straight to hell. That's what it was to me, okay? I'll get to my freaking rant or my freaking major complaints beforehand, but not before I get into my recap. Let's just get this started. We have to it that it plays a small recap of what happened in last week's episode. Elizabeth comes in, saves Deanne from being possessed, and heals up King and Deanne, you know? Eventually, we see to it that Melascula is surprised to see Elizabeth is alive and plans to kill her herself. Meliodas warns Melascula to let him out right now, but she ignores him, and Meliodas gets really ticked and says Elizabeth's name a couple times. And we go to a scene where, Elizabeth is actually happy to see Merlin, and that, to see how she's okay here and there. But we see to it that Melascula ruins the moment, shows up, and says she's planning to kill all the 7 deadly sins, and she ends up having to try to take on Bond first because he destroyed 6 of her hearts and then ruined her jaw. And we see to it that Melascula transforms into her enormous snake form whatsoever. And let's see here. She tries to eat Bond so he will suffocate in all of eternity inside her body, but Elaine shows up to save Bond, and she even grew her wings, which is really beautiful. Eventually, Melascula was about to make the attack again, but she gets disturbed by a powerful presence of darkness, and it was Meliodas. He ends up actually breaking out of Melascula's cocoon of darkness, but not before, Escanor, realizing the danger, summons his sacred treasure Rita to him, and he ends up approaching the captain. We see to it that Merlin warns Escanor that the captain may be too much for you to handle at this time, but Escanor tells Merlin, hey, it's okay. I'm actually good with handling children at these times like this. And Meliodas, having to scream in total rage or agony right now, ends up turning to a different person, and he ends up entering a mode that Melascula realizes that we all fear when he was leader of the 10 Commandments, and that's assault form, or his assault mode. And we see to it as the episode continues on, Melascula continues to fight with the 7 deadly sins, and we see to it, of course, eventually she does get her butt handed by Deanne and King very badly. And Merlin warns Melascula, you really underestimated us very badly. If you used your true magic at that time, things would have been very different. But you had to go on thinking that we're so weak that you can handle us by yourself with just your form like that. How pathetic. We see to it that Elaine ends up trapping Melascula in a whirlwind of tyrant winds and tells Merlin to do the finishing blow. Although Merlin was kind of hesitant at first, she decides to comply with Elaine's wishes, but not before Elizabeth comes in and actually uses some kind of purified to get rid of the magic that Melascula has, and she's actually a normal small snake, harmless snake, and that she only got her magic from the demon realm while she bathed in it for 300 years, you know? And Merlin ends up capturing Melascula in a test tube and therefore compliments Elizabeth for helping out, you know? As for Meliodas and Escanor asks the captain if he is okay, but he tells Escanor to shut up, you lowly human, etc. And Escanor's like, well, this is impudent. And they end up clashing against each other because this is not the Meliodas they know. And it looks like to me, Meliodas ends up being a little small challenge for Escanor, and Meliodas will later on stab Escanor, and the episode ends. That's what the recap is. That much I can say. Next episode is called Strongest versus Strongest. I don't know. But I also get a message from the fan subs that the next episode may not be released until January 8th. So it may be about 2 weeks we're going to have to wait. But I don't know. Anyways, all I am going to tell you guys right now, right here and right now, that This episode, very, very disappointing. And you guys might be asking me, why is it so disappointing? I'm a manga reader, and I'm pretty sure there are millions or thousands of manga readers out there and wanted to see this fight to be done at full 100% all out. But because Studio Deen was forced or was picking up the series, I don't know, it did not become very great. Especially when it even shows a small fight between Escanor and Meliodas. Are you effing kidding me right now? Now, I'm pretty sure anyone could back up Studio Deen by saying, you don't understand. Studio Deen was forced to even have this series brought upon them. You don't even know how it works in Japan, etc. Yeah, you may have a point, but is that really an excuse to not put in at least a little bit more effort for what's to come? If they knew it was going to be this bad, if they knew they weren't going to do a lot of good effort, they should never have picked it up in the first place then. And yeah, I am complaining because the pretty art and pretty colors were not to a good 100% effort. Even though the story itself, and many people are saying it's already terrible from the get-go anyway, I can understand that. Even so, it wouldn't hurt to have a good adaptation if done correctly with a lot of effort, with pretty colors and good art detail work. You know, I'm just gonna say like I said in my first recap, etc., okay? You know, last thing I need, and otherwise, what we needed was another studio animation or another anime studio to pick up a series. Heck, I would rather wait maybe 2 to 3 years for someone else to pick it up and make better effort of it, okay? Heck, I bet Wood Studio would do a way better job than what Studio Deen would have to offer. Yeah, call me Mr. Complaining or what I have to say, but this is just me. Here's my thing, okay? Your new blood, I got nothing for you, Studio Deen. No clues, no options, no 0% trust, no hope for the series at all. Never again. Here, you take this word of advice. If you know you're not going to do a good job on it, don't pick it up.